Congressman Dan Bishop of North Carolina joins us now. Congressman, how many briefings has Congress had at this point, Congressman? I know that Nancy Pelosi was reluctant to call everyone back for anything other than getting more money in a budget, but has she scheduled? Have there been any briefings established by leadership, or I'm curious. Let everybody know, because it seems as though you all are fighting for answers just as the rest of us are.
Well, I think we have the responsibility to the American people to be engaged and to learn from the administration what they're doing as it's happening. The only briefing that has been available to me was one that occurred, and I think it's Tuesday of last week. Remember, Nancy Pelosi called us back during August recess, not because of the collapsing situation in Afghanistan, but in order to pass the $3.5 trillion reckless spending reconciliation budget resolution as a first step. Probably end up spending the $1.2 trillion on top of that, the bipartisan quote infrastructure bill. But that was why we were called back to Washington. In the morning after we came back on Monday, last Monday, there was a briefing. It was perfunctory. It was not very detailed. Questions were not really, not very many questions were entertained, and that's been it. So perhaps the senior membership, the leadership has received more information. I haven't really gotten that impression either. We've had a conference call with Republicans and our leadership, and we didn't hear anything to that effect. That was a number of days ago now. So no, I very much believe that we should be in Washington, that we should be monitoring this, and that the administration should be it's not something that has to happen constantly, but we should be able to communicate with the administration and get their answers on behalf of the American people.
Yes, and one of those questions, talking with Congressman Dan Bishop, is the refugees that are being relocated. And we know a number of them are those allies that we work with who actually protected the lives of our troops overseas, those translators, those informants. But then there are also large numbers of people that we don't know. We don't have any way of verifying their background, their identity. A lot of males coming over. Is there anything that can be done congressionally to establish, something or to where we can maybe vet some of these people before we're just allowing everyone to disperse throughout the country during a pandemic?
Well, it's among the subject matters that many of us want to ask about. I'm very concerned about that. I think we need to exercise considerable caution and restraint. Of course, as you know, Dana, we also have, by action by the Biden administration's reckless management, we have an apparently wide open southwestern border. Mm-hmm. And so when you take that picture combined with what's happening in Afghanistan, combined with the question of who exactly is coming into the United States as applicants for the SIV status, special visa status, all of these things are grave risks to the American people. The possibility of a future 9/11. Those are grave concerns, and again, something we're not able to really explore as Republican members, at least in the minority. The majority decides, and I know Kevin McCarthy believes we need to be back in Washington. He said so. He's asked Speaker Pelosi to bring us back for exactly these reasons. It's just when we're present there, we can push on the machinery more effectively, and she's just not inclined to do it.
So really nothing, Congress is basically thwarted from acting on any of this at all because you have the Speaker of the House that refuses to bring everybody back in session.
That's the essence of it. We've been reduced to, applying all of our efforts to pass messages into the administration to try to facilitate Americans and American allies getting out of the country. We've had my offices handled a number of those requests.
And you're doing that as opposed to the State Department that ran the whole operation.
Well, it does. The State Department's more often been, according to our experience and that of many others I've talked to, many other members, has been more of an obstacle, in fact, a stunning obstacle at points, rather than a facilitator. So I'm giving all credit for the fact that there's a great deal of disorder and chaos and much to do, and the administration imposed this self-imposed deadline, but many of us have been just doing everything we can to get some names, one by one, trying to get them out of the country.